Shout out to Claude Black for sending me this story. And when I was reading the details of this story, like the key points of it, I said, this reminds me so much of that movie, The Family That Prays, with Sanaa Lathan's character and the affair she was having with the white guy who owned the company. Well, not so much owned the company, but he had a huge position in the company. But anyway, when I get to the story, you'll know what I mean. This man's name is Matthew Kinney. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce his last name. And on the right, this woman's name is Dominique Clayton. I think I don't know if it's Dominic or Dominique, but it's spelled like it's Dominic. So maybe it is Dominique. I'm not entirely sure. But this guy dead, and he's the one that did it. She got shot in the back of the head, and her 8-year-old son discovered her body. Now, I only at this point feel bad for the son, and you'll see why I don't feel bad for the mother. I definitely don't feel bad for him, because he put himself in this position, and so did she. But I do feel bad for the son, because no one should have to come home, especially a child, and discover that their mother or any loved one is found dead right in front of them, because that traumatizes anybody, especially a child. So I only feel bad for the child. Now I'm going to run through this story, and I'm going to stop at certain points that pretty much leads to why I don't feel bad for her. It says, a Mississippi police officer has been arrested over the murder of a woman he was having an affair with. Now, mind you, this is in Mississippi we're talking about here. Oxford police officer Matthew Kinney has been charged with the murder of Dominique Clayton by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, according to the court order signed Tuesday by Lafayette County Circuit Judge Andrew Holworth. Kinney was arrested Monday night after Clayton, age 32, was found dead by her 8-year-old son on Sunday. The victim's sister, Shaiwan Clayton, told WHBQ TV that Dominic and Kinney were in a relationship and he didn't want his wife to find out. Now, as I'm going to continue reading, it's going to be some stuff in there that's going to make you wonder, like, how wasn't she going to find out? But I'm not going to jump ahead of myself. Clayton says, now this is the sister talking, he brought my sister a car. He had it in his name. He was about to get her a house. He basically just didn't want the wife to find out. Now, my thing is this. He bought this woman, his mistress, because that's basically what she is, his mistress, a car. Put it in his name and was about to buy her house, and I can only assume that was going to be in his name as well. If his wife and him shared the expenses for their household, it would have only been a matter of time before the wife found out that he was having an affair with this woman. The only reason he put it in his name is because he didn't want to come back to him. But she would have been like, okay, who is this? Like, who is this car that you're buying? Why are you buying a new car? This house and everything. Where is this coming from? She probably would have found out eventually. Speaking about the impact of Dominic's death, she claimed, my sister needs justice. OPD shouldn't sweep this under the rug. They shouldn't try to cover it up. They shouldn't try to save his image. Well, here's one thing right here. Yes, he's definitely probably going to get dealt with accordingly. But see, not too many people are going to feel too bad, because at the end of the day, she had an affair with this guy. And it's not like he kept him being married and said he was married from her. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't like she didn't, it's not like she got in a relationship with a guy that she thought was single. She knew he was married. That goes back to what I was saying about the whole family that prays thing. She's definitely the Sanaa Lathan in this scenario, in this narrative. It broke us because my sister, she was the life of the party. She made everybody laugh. My sister was so crazy and silly, so we didn't expect this. Nothing is ever going to be the same without her. WHBQ TV reported Clayton, a mother of 4, was found shot in the back of her head by her 8-year-old son after he was dropped at home Sunday by a family member. Her son had tried to play a prank on his mother by leaving a toy snake outside the house. However, when he went inside, he came back out and told relatives that his mother was dead. At a press conference on Tuesday, interim Oxford Police Chief Matt McCutcheon would only say that Kinney, who was with the OPD for 4 years, and Clayton were possibly involved in some kind of relationship, but declined to elaborate further. Oh yes, they were definitely involved in a relationship, because you don't just buy a car and plan to buy a house for just anybody. That's either going to be for a family member or someone that you are with in a sexual way. You don't just go out buying cars for your friends, quote unquote. You don't just go out there buying houses for your friends, quote unquote. Oxford police called in the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation to lead the inquiry, a common step in shootings involving officers in Mississippi. McCutcheon declined to elaborate on the manner of death or other details, saying he would answer questions at a future time. Neither he nor Mississippi Bureau of Investigation spokesman Captain Johnny Polos responded to messages and phone calls seeking comment. McCutcheon said to our community, "We know that you're hurting, and we want to assure you that we will not hide behind our badge. This badge stands for truth and justice, and today is justice for Dominique." Okay, so now they spell her name right, because in the beginning, I guess it was a typo. They said Dominique. I said that's definitely a man's name. So I said I was right. I said it has to be Dominique. Polos said during the investigation, information was gathered leading to the arrest of Matthew Kinney. Due to the fact that we are early on this investigation, we will refrain from making any comments or statements that could jeopardize the integrity of this case. In Mississippi, before police officers, teachers, and other people can be arrested for crimes committed while they are on duty, a prosecutor is supposed to present evidence of probable cause to a judge. Judge Holworth set a Wednesday hearing to consider whether that law applies, writing that state officials say Kinney was not in performance of official duties as a law enforcement officer at the time of the alleged murder. Kinney is jailed in a neighboring Panola County. Holworth said he would consider whether to set bail on Wednesday and ordered that a lawyer be appointed for Kinney. Kinney has been an Oxford officer for 4 years. WREG-TV reported that no one answered the door at his home on the outskirts of Oxford. The department named Kinney its mounted patrol officer in the year in January. Dominique's cousin, Josephine Williams, said Clayton's family and community are shocked and saddened over her untimely death. She said she always kept a smile and will always speak to you. She would always love a hug. I just feel so lost without her right now being here, because I'm used to talking to her on Facebook and laughing, talking and singing, making her happy. I'm going to miss that. Another friend of Clayton said her family are hopeful that they will get justice for her. Travis Blake added, "You have an officer who is sworn to protect and serve, and he does the opposite. He takes a mother away from her children." Like I said, I don't really feel bad for her, because she got into this relationship with this guy knowing that he was married. It's not like she thought or knew he was single. He probably told her that he had a wife. And whenever it comes to those affairs, see, she must have done something to alert or give off the fact that his wife was on the verge of finding out, and he had to find a way to get rid of her. That's why anybody who's thinking about or contemplating getting into extramarital affairs, please rethink that, because you don't know what the mindset of many of these people are out here. Some people actually do take their marriage seriously. This guy didn't, but he was probably scared that his wife was going to find out, and he knew if he was going to buy this woman a car and plan to buy her a house, this man must have been making some very good money. And if his wife would have found out he was having an extramarital affair, she probably would have divorced him and took a good chunk of his money with her. And that's what he was probably fearful of. So something tells me his wife was on the verge of finding out that there was an affair, and he had to eliminate her. But I don't feel bad for him, and I really don't feel bad for her, because they basically went into this knowing what the consequences was going to be. Now, is it messed up that he killed her? Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not. It's messed up that her son had to find her dead when he was planning to play a prank on her. But at the end of the day, she knew what she got herself into. She knew what the risks were. She probably went around and started telling people that she met this guy and everything like that. Her family probably wanted to meet him and everything like that, but she probably couldn't say much, because he probably told her not to tell anybody. But sometimes when women get excited about a new relationship that they think is going to work, they get real excited and they start to spill the beans anyway. So he probably told her, don't do this, don't do that, and she probably did the complete opposite. I'm just speculating right now, but usually that's how it plays out. But I think, like I said, I think the reason as to why he killed her is because his wife was about to find out about the affair, and she was about to clean house. And by clean house, I mean clean his pockets. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. I would like to know what y'all think. Why do you think he killed her? Do you agree with my assessment on it, or do you have another take on it? Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one. I thought I was done with this particular video until I came across some stuff and, discovered some things even more further of Miss Dominique Clayton. If y'all thought that I went in on her in the first part of that video, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. That's why there is a slash in between the first title and this is like a second title, so it's like a 2-for-1 special. And that's why I called it 360 Degree Karma, and you're about to find out why. First off, shout out to black people on social media. If there's one thing that we can do when it comes to investigating stuff, we turn into the FBI, CIA, Interpol, U.S. Marshals all wrapped into one. It's like one big bureau, and we're all under that tent when it comes to finding things out, when we want to look things up for research purposes anyway. So I was going through and I was looking at videos on Instagram, and I came across an Instagram video that was posted by the Ebony Instagram page, and it was talking about this case. And I said, okay, I already know about it, but you know what, let me just go to the comments because it had like 1,500 plus comments. So I went and looked, and I'm scrolling through the comments, and I'm seeing something in heavy rotation that I noticed with a lot of people commenting. And they said, is this the same Dominique Clayton that was talking and bashing black men all up and down her Facebook page? And I'm like, Then I realized that the 1LVZ had did a live stream about her. I actually called the 1LVZ right after I saw that, and I said, you won't believe what I heard. And I told him about what I saw. And he said, yeah, I know, because when I was doing my live stream, I had posted up pictures from her, like her Facebook page, where she was like literally going in on black men and saying how it's good that they're getting hemmed up by these cops and everything like that. Basically, she was like a more raunchier version of Kai Waters. If y'all don't remember who Kai Waters is, she was the military person in Kentucky who got confronted by that white racist woman in that gas station parking lot, and we was getting ready to throw the cape on for her until the black investigators, again the Black Bureau, came in and started to dig into her stuff and found that they found a screenshot of her saying things about basically how black people just ain't shit, and we just basically said that was her karma. Now they found some stuff about her, but she was really going in more so on black men and saying how we're not shit and how she's glad that, that the cops are doing this, doing that. Basically, if you close your eyes, she sounded like a white supremacist female. Now, what's so interesting about this whole thing, and this is where the karma comes in, and it's obvious that the same people that she held up in such high regard is the same person who killed her. And the cop wasn't a black man. It was a white guy. This woman literally was a bed wench and a traitor all rolled into one. Now, like I said, if you didn't think I felt bad for her before, I really don't feel bad for her now. The only person, like I said in the beginning, that I feel bad for is her 8-year-old son, because he did lose his mother in a violent way, and he had to be the first one to discover her lifeless body. He was the first one to see it, not any other adult or any other emergency personnel. He was. That's where my sympathy begins and ends. As for her, I feel absolutely nothing. Now, I have a question to the Sisterhood of Failure who went in on Stephon Clark last year for the stuff that he posted about black women. Are y'all going to say the same thing about him? About her? Because it's basically almost the same thing, but with a different gender. She did the same exact thing. But the difference is hers was a little bit worse because she actually had an extramarital affair with a guy who was married. And she knew it. But I want to see if y'all are going to say anything about this, because a lot of y'all been awfully quiet. But that's fine because many of you are flightless any goddamn way and your feathers are still showing. Got all them feathers and still can't fly. How about that? Just a waste of a species. Penguin ass bitches. But yeah, this could have been a Petty Pendergrass production of just this part alone, but I said, you know what, I like my petty to flow through the entire video, not just a portion of it. So I just decided to leave the violins alone, but just know the petty is flowing through me right as we speak when it comes to this topic right here. I'll say it again. I feel absolutely nothing for this woman. Notice in the beginning of the video, I didn't mention anything about her bed winching it up until now. Because now it all makes sense. She had a disdain for black men. She held white men, as you can see, in high esteem, especially white cops. And there was a white cop who she dropped down in eagle formation and spread it as wide as 915. That killed her. How's that for karma? If there are a few things that's undefeated in this world, that is the internet, the wall, and karma. And ironically, I think all three of them got her. The internet, because that's how we found out about those posts. The wall, because I'm sure she's already hit it. And karma, because as you can see, she's now the deceased because of her antics. But something tells me whether or not she got killed or not, it was going to catch up to her eventually. Now, I only wish that she was alive to actually feel the karma. But now I am done.